Good evening, everyone, to the July 10th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Clerk, call roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. We've got two of them, right?
6:12 and 6:29.
Okay. Are there any changes to those minutes? Okay, we'll entertain a motion then to approve for June 12th as well as June 29th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for June 12th and June 29th.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second, I apologize. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, move on to department head reports. First up will be Police Department. Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department responded to 724 calls for service. 25 people were arrested for the following crimes. 4 for operating while intoxicated, 7 were wanted on a warrant, 6 for possession of meth, 1 for possession of cocaine, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of a controlled substance, 3 for domestic battery, 1 for invasion of privacy, and 1 for dealing narcotics. In that same time frame, LPD took 31 crash reports, and we sent 1 handgun carry license application onto the state for final approval. Our training was pretty short this time period because of the 4th. We didn't send a lot of people off to any training, but if I could just take a second and acknowledge our explorers. They came out on the 4th during the parade and helped out, a voluntary basis. And I think they did a really good job. We actually got a compliment on a couple of them. One of them was Caleb Erstein. The email I got was complimenting how professional, polite, and helpful he was while he was manning his intersection. And just so you guys understand, we have actually hired 4 officers that have come from our Explorer program. So I think the program is working, and we've actually hired 2 other officers who have come from other departments' Explorer programs. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and, publicly thank them for volunteering their time on the 4th. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board? Okay, for the public? Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Fire Department. Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety, Lebanon Fire has made 121 emergency calls of service, logged 234 training hours, finalized 39 commercial inspections, and assisted with 2 public education events. Much like the other departments, we've been quite busy with the 4th of July over the last week and a half, along with the fallout from the storm and the recovery from that, so I don't have anything additional to report.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board? Okay, thanks, sir. Next will be Parks Department. John Messenger.
Good evening. As everyone's aware, we had a very stormy weather and heavy straight line damaging winds on Thursday before the 4th. Had most of the damage at Memorial Park cleared up the next day. I want to thank several. There was no injuries, thank goodness, and we had just a few facilities were damaged, but thank Chief Batts. He was out there with the biggest chainsaw that we had, handled it like a kid toy. But his department also, I just want to thank them. They came out and spent a half day there cleaning up, took a Widowmaker. They used their ladder truck and got one of those Widowmakers hanging. Really appreciate that, but really, really hard work, and thank you very much for that, Chief. Also, Joe LePage and Kelly Cook, Mayor, I want to thank you for letting them, they wanted to volunteer and come out, and you let them out, and I man, they really did a nice job and helped us out tremendously.
I would have helped too if I was in the middle of a move, so. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're in the middle of moving. You know how humid and hot it was that day. And Joe, I just can't get over, man, he needs to come out to the park more often. That was awesome, along with Kelly. And I can't say enough about our park staff and how they jumped in. And we were ahead of the game prior to that for the 4th of July, because obviously we have all those activities. And thank goodness we were ahead, because boy, that put us a little bit in the hole. I want to thank Sherry Goodwin also from Cedar Tree Cookies. She stopped by with delicious cookies and cupcakes, and they got eaten up real quick. But again, thanks to all the departments for all your help and her donation. Abner Longley Park, we had 6 trees down there, got them on the ground and finally cleaned them up this week. We were pretty busy still with Memorial last week, cleaning it up. And the Big 4 Trail had 9 trees down. We got it that same day, that Friday, so those were all cleaned up and okay, clear to go. I know Thorntown had some trees down. I just didn't have the energy to get over across the bridge and take care of them. The 4th events and dinners had a great attendance. Huseman Amusements, that was the first time that we've had them in our park. They also ran a very clean and safe operation, and they want to come back. I don't have the dates right now. He's going to look at it, but they just loved our park and our little city, and all their employees also just really were thrilled to come to Lebanon. I want to thank LPD for the extra patrols that we had. We had no incidents out there, to my knowledge. And again, Huseman couldn't say enough about how great our patrolmen were and walking through there. I thought it was a nice crowd this year. Rich Mount did a safety meeting with all the safety. Anyway, the safety meeting before all the festivities and the parade just made it safe, and Rich did a real good job with that. Getting all EMS and all the public safety stuff going on. LISA is having their free soccer camp this week out at Reese Park. They had over 150 pre-registered. That started today. Lebanon Youth Football League has started. There again, that started today also, so just watch the signage as you go in and out of the park, and just be mindful of the increase of kids at both parks. Unfortunately, due to the weather, we had to reschedule our mother-son pool party for Friday, August 11th. You can still register online for the tickets. They're $20 per couple, $5 for additional child. And it will be held at Seashore Water Park from 5:30 to 8. We hope to see you there. We just started our July swim lessons this morning, and they will run for the next 10 days. We will look forward to getting to know all these kiddos. We'll also have a group going off here in a little bit too, for the evening classes. And those were all booked really quick. We hosted our Serving Up Sparks pickleball tournament on Friday, June 30th. Had a great turnout. There were 12 teams and lots of spectators, making for a fun night. Unfortunately, again, a storm rolled through and we weren't able to complete, but everybody was pretty well spent. They had 9 games in, so they were ready to call it quits. But it was really enjoyable. Our 2023 Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held on Saturday, August 26th from 6 to 8:30. Costs $20 and $5 per additional child. Theme this year is mermaids, and we will have 2 real-life mermaids on the pool deck for pictures and visits. Tickets can be purchased online or over the phone, also be sold at the door. And also, we have a really nice event that's coming up. We also have the Battle of the Barbecue in August, but Serve Day is July 27th at Memorial Park. Excuse me, that's put on by Freedom Church this year. Emily Frazier is running the show. And there again, it's from 11 to 3. There will not be free food this year, but there's also free pool swim. They have clothes, they have shoes, they have haircuts, you name it, whatever they have, all the kids' supplies that they'll need, backpacks. Just a great event that they put on at the park. And there again, July 22nd from 11 to 3. So that'll get all those kiddos ready to go back to school. But can't say enough about what a great thing that Lebanon does on that.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? From the public? Sir?
Thank you.
Next will be Engineering Department. Kevin Krulik.
Thank you, board members. Engineering update, few projects around town, as you might understand. One old project that we have to do some work on in the coming weeks is the courthouse square. So we will be doing some, as we do from time to time, we're doing some sidewalk repairs, and those involve some removal and replacement. Particularly, there's a couple of miscellaneous places, but primarily we're going to be working on a trip hazard that is really developed along the edge of the trail along Main Street. So we will be we'll be doing that in the coming weeks. Don't have a schedule yet, but want to update people. You'll see some work going on there to remove and replace some sections of sidewalk along the south side of Main Street. Again, coming weeks, but don't have a schedule yet, still working through all the details. But definitely something we'll have to make some repairs on. You might see cones that were placed last week just to warn people of that tripping hazard. But we're going to take care of that. And other projects around town, our community crossings, our our pavement resurfacing programs, obviously really wrapped up for this year. We still have one remaining project that may try to slide into our schedule, and that will be the Riley Road widening. Those appraisals and buying packages were all delivered, offers made a little over a week ago, so we're waiting to hear back on results there. If we can get that right away wrapped up, we'll try to get that back onto the schedule before the end of the year. But we are also in the midst of the second round of community crossing matching grant applications is now open, and we're working through finalizing our pavement asset management plan prior to making that submittal on that grant, and that will start to tee up our 2024 resurfacing program. So more to come in the next couple of days. Hopefully by the next meeting, I'll be able to present what our proposed resurfacing program will look like for next year. Elmwood Bridge, Whit Road Bridge, really those projects are just wrapping up, a final closeout documentation, and those will be complete. On the Whit Road project, our stage one plans are scheduled to be completed and in our hands about a week from now on the 18th of July. So we'll look forward to start reviewing those and getting into those details. Early environmental coordination is ongoing. We did have a small scope expansion that we're processing right now, just to make sure on the south end of the project along Lafayette Avenue that we're able to tie in some pedestrian infrastructure and take care of some gaps along Lafayette Road. And we're doing that, and that's moving forward without really any hitches at this point. On the other side of town, the Grant Street project, we're continuing to suffer some delays there. Similar to last year, really a lot of it centers around concrete supply issues. Although this year it's not a cement supply issue, it's really a supply of drivers. So if you have any friends or family that have a CDL and want to start driving a concrete truck, they're in desperate need right now. That's the main reason why we have had some.
What's that again, Kevin?
Grant Street?
What's that again?
The main delay right now is concrete availability, and the main source of that is concrete truck drivers that we're not able to find. I know it seems like an excuse. I've verified it with several other contractors, several other city and county engineers, seeing the same thing, difficulty getting concrete to a site right now. There's just a limited number of CDL drivers. So we're still suffering through that. I hesitate to give you real concrete updates on what schedule looks like. On the Phase 4 project that we're in the middle of right now, it's the intersection of Grant and Washington. We're looking to start pouring curbs sometime in the next week or so, and possibly open in about 2 weeks. But at this point, I'm really awaiting schedule confirmation from the contractor, and we have a meeting later this week where we'll be discussing that schedule and hopefully have a better schedule that we'll put out there on our social media channels so people can understand that. Our next phase then is the Ann Street intersection. Understanding that we will not close the Ann Street intersection, although we may start on some of the water main replacement work this week even, but we won't close that intersection to traffic until we get the Grant and Washington Street intersection open. And then I've also had assurances from our contractor that all roads will be open and passable for traffic at the start of school come August 3rd. So that's our goal right now, is to make sure that we can get kids and parents safely to the schools, especially Central Elementary, come August 3rd. Phase 2, which is the east half of the road, again, waiting schedule confirmation, but it is being set up now to coincide with the curbs on that Phase 4, with the curbs at the Washington and Grant Street intersection. So again, some of the delays that they've seen were able them to compress that schedule and put both phases on the same concrete pour schedule. Again, waiting to see those confirmations. And as soon as I have those, I will update everybody as soon as possible. And then we'll move from that into Phase 3, which is the west half of the road, and looking to have all that paved and open for traffic before we get to the holiday season this year. Grant Street Phase 2, first round of appraisals are now complete, and just waiting on some final approvals so we can go out for the buying process with that project, acquiring the right-of-way that we'll need for the reconstruction of that in 2027. Our Fordyce Road project is still in the schedule for 2024 and 25, with ongoing coordination taking place between the new school, elementary school project at Fordyce and John Bart. Stone Eater Bike Park, we're currently working on excavating for our dry detention system and putting that in place. We still have heard rumblings that New Cold will have some additional dirt that they will bring to the park that will allow us to do some more mounding and create some more features on the park. And right now, we are still awaiting IDEM approvals. Those comment updates and responses have been back in their hands since early May and have not seen a response yet. At this point, I must say it's difficult for me to envision a timeline where we're really going to be under construction with trail and park improvements yet this year, with it already being July at this point. We will see what happens and keep everybody posted, but that might need to push off until 2024. Couple other updates. Let's see, the Elizaville Road's drainage improvements, we're just waiting on some staking there so that we can finalize easements and sewer structure locations with residents along Elizaville Road to take care of some flooding issues that we have out there. And then also wanted to update everyone on the Leap District road projects. So city and county permits have been issued on the following roads associated with the Lilly site. So this is a first phase of the LEAP District. These are off-site road improvements that include reconstruction and widening on County Road 375, County Road 450 North, and the newly proposed Eastern Bypass. So all those permits have been issued by the city and the county. In fact, we held a pre-construction meeting with the contractor, Milestone Contractors, earlier today. City permits for Northern Witt Road, County Road 150 West, those have been issued by the city, but the county permits remain tabled at this point, and we'll be working through those issues hopefully in the next week with the county commissioners. But right now, that road remains the responsibility of the highway department for any maintenance that would be needed during the construction phases. All proposed projects are pursuant and following the city IEDC MOU that was executed, that's being executed right now, but was agreed to late last year for County Road 375, 450 North, the Eastern Bypass Road, Witt Road, and County Road 300 North. Last but certainly not least, the inspection program, a lot of construction projects going on. Scott has conducted 17 SWIP inspections in the last 2-week period, responded to 1 complaint, and issued 8 right-of-way permits. So there's still a lot going on in the infrastructure world on the public and private side of the coin.
And Kevin, any questions for Kevin from the board?
Question, how much, I was out at the Stone Eater Bike Trail Park out there the other day, just drove out and just take a look.
Yeah.
I was surprised of the amount of dirt that was actually spread out. How deep are we? I mean, it looks like I know what it looked like before, but man, it looks like there's a lot of dirt out there.
Yeah, I mean, the dirt covered roughly, basically, we're on the the landfill cap fortification phase of the project. All that dirt has been coming from New Cold. There's been a few other miscellaneous sources, different city projects, mostly utility, city utilities, Lebanon utilities projects that have also brought a small amount of dirt, but mostly that dirt's came from the New Cold site. I don't have a topo on it. We will be doing that here in the coming days. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70,000 yards of dirt that has been placed. And in fact, we're actually looking for additional places to place the dirt that's coming out of our detention area because we reached our proposed grading plan with the dirt already that we had from New Cold. So I think it's on the heavy side of that 65 to 75,000 yards. But yeah, it's covered over 70 acres.
There's at
and-
least 3 feet of dirt, but
Oh, in places,
I mean,
there was
it's-
every
it's
bit of
just-
3 feet, sometimes, some
looks like
places
a
as
lot.
much as 5 feet of dirt, so.
Yeah.
A lot of dirt, a lot of volume of dirt. It came in very quickly. I think we were really lucky that the rains that have sort of plagued some projects in the last 2 weeks weren't there for the first really month of the summer, and they were able to make really, really
Yeah,
efficient production rates.
looks good.
So, thank you.
looks good.
Anything
Anything else?
else for Kevin? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, next will be Planning Department, Matt Reynolds.
Good evening, Board. Since our last meeting, our inspectors have completed 114 additional building inspections, commercial and residential. We did have our new office admin, Jennifer Wilson, started last week, so she's been drinking from a fire hose, so to speak. 112 permits were issued since our last meeting, including 4 new single-family residential. The roofing business continues to thrive with 41 permits there issued, and then we had 4 commercial permits that were issued. For the Plan Commission filing deadline was this past Friday. We had 3 projects that were submitted. One was the preliminary plan for the Spring Creek subdivision, which is at the intersection of 300 and State Road 39, so we have a preliminary plan for the residential section. The preliminary plan for Corbett Towns, which is on the council's agenda tonight for final second reading of rezone, which is on State Road 39 south of 300. And then we had a PUD rezone filed by Spectra, which is a multifamily development that would be the second part of the Brandenburg property that is just north of Corbett Towns. So south of 300, west of State Road 39. So be looking at those for the August Plan Commission meeting. And in code enforcement, we still remain busy, 46 investigative activities. We had 15 new complaints with the heat, humidity, and rain. The grass and weeds are shooting up, so we're starting to see some of those complaints continue to come in. So that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Matt from the board? From the public? Sir? Next is Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
Well, yeah, just like everybody else, we had a few trees down. I think we had 5 trees down when it started right here during the thing. You know, it never stopped, but we dealt with it. I want to thank Chuck and his crew because they dealt with 2 of them to help us out. And it still took a while, but they really helped us a lot. And Chuck reached out to me, so I just enjoy that we can work together. Not any problems. Ever since then, we've been brush. So everybody's had brush. We also responded to a tree on the 4th of July that was on fire. I guess kids stuck fireworks in it, but we just helped the fire department because it wasn't like blazing like I imagined it, but but we did have to. Big thanks to Kurt Freshour because he came out. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and he came out because I think they used their 100-foot extension ladder to barely reach it. So we didn't have nothing that high, but with the help of everybody, and we got her down. Trying to keep our weekly mowing schedule up as well during all the brush, so I've been doing a little bit of that with a couple guys and do some of my own just to keep our brush crew going. Everybody's full hands-on with the brush right now, and keeping the drains clean, obviously, trying to balance everything with all this brush. But street sweeper's been out. We had a pretty good 4th of July. I mean, we picked brush up there for all day and then swept the streets to try to get that set barricades out. So I think everything went well. A lot of candy. I've never seen that much candy left on the road, so we had to go back and sweep all.
I was going to ask how that first clean of the street sweeper looked, 'cause it looked like there was a lot of candy left over.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when it was set that long. It was melted on the road, so.
Yeah.
We tried not to use water to try to pick it up, but I've never seen that much candy left after the parade. I didn't think kids would run out of taking candy, but I guess they gave up.
There's where.
But yeah, it was a lot.
Okay, questions for Dave from the board? From the public? Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, communications and community development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to begin tonight with a couple of event updates. First off, meeting tomorrow with Sean over at the Chop House to talk about Unite Under the Lights 2023, tentatively scheduled for October 7th. Going to talk to him about moving the event potentially back into the street of Meridian Street. You may remember last year we were in the alley there by the Chop House, so meeting with him later on. Also talking with some promoters to potentially level up our Boone County Summerfest event for next year. Talking about some national acts that you may have heard of before. So we have a list of those that we're whittling down to be able to have at least one to headline next year's event. When we had Flying Toasters, the question we had when it was the largest crowd was who would the Flying Toasters open up for to kind of continue to kind of push that event to the next level. And so looking forward to doing that. Putting the finishing touches on our article for the Boone County Magazine August article. We're going to highlight some things that are happening in the second and third quarters of this year. Also, would highly recommend driving around the area of Camp Street and Harney Elementary as Anita Gordon continues to take drastic steps in improving and augmenting the mural that she has there under the CSX overpass. Tremendous talent of hers, and she's kind of taking it to the next level. We agreed on a contract of how things would be done there, but she's just enjoying the artwork so much that she's actually, the rounded surface of the ceiling of the mural, she's just totally embraced that, and it's something that she's done out of her own desire to have that be a great artistic piece. And so it's unbelievable what she's done and the steps that she continues to take. And so we appreciate the public's their willingness to drive around when that street is closed, because she needs to be obviously in the roadway to be able to paint that overpass. And so we appreciate the patience there of our public behind the wheel. And then finally, just continue to have regular video updates on Hickory Junction, Brakeman Building as it's closing in on being completed, and then Grant Street as well, along with the various road projects and community enhancement efforts that are taking place within our community. So continues to be busy, and it's a fun process with our city. So.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? From the public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. Move on to old business. There's nothing on my agenda. Is there anything from the board? Okay. New business then. First item up is a surplus request for the Stormwater Department F-150. Dave?
Yeah, we just got an older truck. We finally got the new one in and just trying to get rid of it. It's a 2013 F-150. I think it's got like probably at least 70 to 80,000 miles on it. So it's just time. It's rusting out. Just time to change it out.
Any questions on that from the board?
It's the Enterprise lease trade, so we'll turn it into Enterprise and let them run it through their dealer auction, and we'll get a price on it.
All right, if there's no other questions, then would entertain a motion to surplus the 2013 Ford F-150 from the Stormwater Department.
I make a motion, we surplus the Ford F-150 pickup from the Stormwater Department.
Okay, the motions are a second.
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. All right, next up will be a surplus item request from LPD for tasers and bicycles. Could be a fun event, tasers and bicycles.
Yeah, we make a game show out of that. So I have 3 bicycles that I'm trying to surplus. Rick got them donated to the police department from the Lions Club back in the 90s, I believe. So if you look at them, 2 of them, I got the values online. each one's $150. And then the third one's a Trek, and it's worth $136. I've spoken with Jamestown PD and Thorntown PD. Jamestown wants one, and Thorntown would like two. So that's where they're going to go if you guys do surplus them.
Do you want to present the tasers as well, too?
Sure, yeah, I got them right here.
We can just do them all at once.
So the tasers, there's 46 of them. From my understanding from our guy who is our instructor, a lot of them do not work. The ones that do work, the estimated value was about $50. Now, if we sent them off and had them refurbished and got holsters for them and a new cartridge, then the value would be $99 a piece. But as it is, I'm estimating at $50 without the holster or cartridge, and then most of them don't work. And Advanced PD has already asked if we get these surplus, if they could have enough for their department with some spares. Then I was going to also hit up some of the other departments, if we have enough that will work.
Okay.
So,
Any questions on that from the board? Okay. You said how many of those tasers you said?
there's 46 total.
46.
It's attached on the back of that.
Okay.
With their serial numbers and model numbers.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion then to declare the 3 bikes and the 46 tasers surplus.
I'll make a motion, we approve the surplus of 3 bicycles, 2 to go to Thorntown, 1 to Jamestown, and 46 tasers, right?
That's what we have total. All 46 do not work.
Okay, 46 tasers that will be going to town of Advance, correct?
Advance and then any other department that could use
Or
them.
any other department.
We
I
have
recommend that we put those on the surplus.
we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you from Alan. Motion a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that is approved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be a change order for the Elmwood Bridge. Kevin Krulik.
Thank you very much. I mentioned this in my report, but this is one of these closeout documents that we need to finalize for the Elmwood Bridge. These are the best kind of change orders. This is a change order for negative $70,703.53. Again, so change order number 2 for Duncan Robertson Incorporated, negative 70703.53.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, looks like a positive change order. So it's change order number 2, correct?
Yes, change order number 2. This is zeroing out the planned quantities that we did not use for the project.
Very good. All right, then would entertain a motion then to approve change order number 2 for the Elmwood Bridge, in a total of $70,703.53. Negative.
I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 2 for the Elmwood Drive Bridge project.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's approved. Thank you, Kevin. All right, next up will be an alley closure request for a roof repair. Caldwell, Ted Caldwell?
Good evening, Board. I have a project at 115 Northwest Street, and I have siding repair and roofing repair there, so it's a 2-stage project. I'll need to close this alley 2 different times for pedestrian safety and my own liability issues. And when we do the siding, we'll have ladders that are actually going to be in the alley, and it's the alley behind the Huntington Bank drive-through. And it basically runs, if you were exiting the library, all the way to Cowan's, but I don't need it closed that far, just from West Street to the north-south cross alley behind Cowan's. And I don't have a schedule for that, and I don't know who to contact when I'm ready to do that or whatever. I didn't want to put the cart in front of the horse and throw it at you and say I'm going to be there tomorrow.
So we would probably have, Dave, you think you need 48 hours notice or 24 hours notice on street closure or alley closure? That'd be all right for police and street department? That'd be all right? Okay.
Yeah, and I have to remain fluid, especially with roofing, with rain and everything else, so.
Yep. So any, about how long do you think the closure would be for?
Probably about a half a day for the roofing and an 8-hour period for the siding.
Okay, so really 2 days,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
2 separate days? Okay. Questions on that from the board? Okay. Would entertain a motion then to approve the alley closure request for the roof and siding repair at 115 Northwest Street for the alley behind those properties with proper notice to the street and police departments.
I'll make a motion, we approve the alley closure for the building repairs.
Okay, we have motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. To be clear, that's 24 hours notice, and I
Yeah,
need to
just
go
to,
through.
yeah, just to let just give them a
Those
heads up
two
on
guys.
that. Yep,
All right, fantastic, thank you.
perfect, thank you. Okay, that concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board? Okay, we'll move on to claims. Would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Judge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. Any announcements or discussion from the board? Any general public comment? Okay, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, our next Board of Works meeting will be July 24th at 6:15 PM. We are adjourned.